This is when a battleship model starts to look like a battleship. Today, I'm going to be completing the construction of the main armament. At this point, there's not all that much to do, although it is going to be fairly tedious work. There are a lot of life rafts that need to be constructed and then installed. Some of the painting on these rafts will be a little bit more complicated, where they go over the camouflage pattern. In addition to that, the blast bags need to be removed from their sprue and then painted, and of course the brass barrels need to be installed. Once all of that is done, the main armament will be fully constructed. However, at this point I will not be installing the Ehrlichen guns that go on the top of the B and C turrets. Let's get started with the most tedious part, the rafts. These rafts come in 3 components, a resin part and then 2 photo etch parts. This is once again showing the age of this detail upgrade kit. A modern detail upgrade kit, if it were to provide replacement parts, would be entirely 3D printed. There'd be no need for this resin and photo etch combination anymore. Whether or not these upgraded rafts are actually going to be upgrades remains to be seen, but for now I'm happy to give them a go. Most of the raft's resin parts are already detached from any resin support or molding structures that they were connected to, so it's just a matter of cleaning up a few of the attachment points. This is easily enough done with the side of a bar file, although I do need to be careful not to remove any of the details in the area. Now that all the resin parts are cleaned up, I can move on to the first of the photo etch. This is the grating or netting that goes at the bottom of the raft. These components have an interesting fit with the resin. For the most part, they are just a little bit too big to fall through, so it is possible to position the resin on top of the photo etch correctly and have it sit in place. But for a few of them, the resin is shaped such that these photo etch bases will actually fall all the way through and not sit nicely at the base like this one is. That is a bit awkward because the next piece of photo etch actually goes below this one, and for the most part would be the support for this netting. But if you can't put the photo etch netting through the top and have it fall through because it's a little bit too big, that means you have to install it first and then put the support photo etch on top of it or beneath it, depending on your perspective. Anyway, for now I'm going to just proceed with installing all of these nettings at the bottom of the raft. The easiest way to do that is to simply cut them all off of their fret, place them on the cutting mat, and then place the resin component on top of it, giving it a light push so that it grips it between the resin. Once lightly held in place by friction, I flip over the raft and then apply extra thin superglue to the edge of the resin and the photo etch. This process is then repeated many times. I don't need all of these rafts, but I am going to build all of them just so that I can select the best ones for the model. While applying the extra thin superglue, I am being very careful to try and avoid getting any glue into the actual grating so that it doesn't clog up these holes in this mesh. In reality though, I am a little bit concerned about how these components are actually going to be attached to the model itself, because at some point I'm going to have to put glue underneath these rafts, and I'm a bit concerned that that will come through some of these small holes in the mesh and clog them up. But for now, I will just proceed and hope that that doesn't become a problem. After about an hour of installing those meshes at the bottom of the rafts, I'm now ready to install the supports that go below that mesh. The process is very similar for installing these components. After removing the supports from their fret, I take the rafts, which are already flipped upside down, and carefully position the support on the raft. Once in position, I hold it in place with my finger and apply extra thin superglue to the frame. Once again, I'm being very careful here. While I don't mind getting a lot of superglue on the resin part because it's not going to be visible when these rafts are installed in the model, I do mind that superglue running into the mesh. Hopefully it won't go there. Hopefully where it does go, it's only going to go where there is a support bar, but we will have to wait and see. This is why I construct all of them and not just the specific number that I need. I suspect some of these are going to work out better than others, so I want to be able to choose from the fully completed rafts the best ones that will actually be installed on the model. After another hour or so of installing photo etch on the rafts are finally constructed and ready for paint, so I will set them aside and now work on preparing the blast bags. After a rather long and tedious process of preparing the rafts, the blast bags are delightfully easy to prepare. They are simply removed from their sprue, the excess is clipped off, and then filed and sanded smooth. Unfortunately, there aren't replacement blast bags that came in the detail upgrade kit. All I have are these rather basic plastic ones that don't have pretty much any detail on them, so that is a bit disappointing. With the blast bags now prepared, everything is ready for paint. The first paint that I'm going to apply is metal primer to the main and secondary armaments guns. These brass parts are quite large, and there is a very high likelihood that if I were to handle them, paint would come off if they weren't primed. So I think for these kinds of parts, metal primer is well worth it. After the metal primer, I apply the first color coat. This is Mr. Color number 308. In addition to the gun barrels, this color is also painted on the life rafts. Next up, the blast bags are painted. They are painted in Tamiya XF1. This is flat black. Before I paint any of the rafts in Mr. Color number 14, navy blue, I want to position some of the light gray rafts on the camouflage pattern. That's because I want to mask them while they are in place and then spray them with navy blue. At the same time, I'll spray all the solidly navy blue rafts as well. So that means I must start the installation process. To install these rafts, I apply very carefully medium viscosity superglue to the frame on the underside of the raft, and then lower the raft into position on the side of the turrets. Before the superglue fully sets, I have a few seconds to adjust the position of the raft to ensure that it is in the correct location. Fortunately, I only need to worry about these rafts in the camouflage pattern on the A and B turrets. On the C turret, it's fully in the navy blue color, and then on the roof, all of the rafts are going to be navy blue. Now that the 4 rafts in the camouflage pattern are installed, I can work on transferring the camouflage pattern onto them. I'm going to do this in the same way that I've done all of the camouflage pattern on the ship. First, I apply masking tape to a 1:1 scale with the model paint guide. The painting guide is then backlit, and I trace the camouflage pattern onto the masking tape, after which the tape is removed from the painting guide and placed on the cutting mat, where I cut it out using my hobby knife. The masking tape is removed from the cutting mat and transferred to the side of the turret, where it is carefully aligned with the existing camouflage pattern. Once positioned correctly, further cuts are made to the mask to help it conform to the shape of the raft. After filling in a few gaps where the cuts were made, the turrets are ready for navy blue paint. As I previously said, this is Mr. Color number 14. Before I move off of the turrets, I want to remove the masking tape and just check to see that the camouflage pattern is looking good. Unfortunately, I didn't think to also apply metal primer to the base of these rafts, and the consequence of that is now clear. When I remove the masking tape, I remove some of that light grey paint. Metal primer really does work well. I didn't think to apply it here because I didn't think it would be touched much. But I should have thought about this masking side of things. Also, when removing the tape on one of the rafts, the connection to the frame below wasn't that good, and I managed to pull it off the side of the turret in its entirety. So I'm going to start by reattaching that raft. To do that, I apply medium viscosity superglue to the frame. Since the frame does cause the raft to sit a little bit off the side of the turret, I'm not so concerned about this glue clogging up the mesh, but you'll just have to see. After applying the glue, the raft is carefully lowered back onto its frame. This should be okay. Now to do something about that light grey paint that's lifted. I think the easiest way to deal with this is just to dry brush it back on. So I just dip the paintbrush in some Mr. Color number 308, wipe it on some paper until the majority of the paint has been removed, and then run it back and forth over the mesh. This fortunately seems to work quite well, and those spots where the paint was removed close up quite nicely. Now that I'm happy with those 4 rafts on the turret, I can move on to painting all the other components in navy blue. Since these are all going to be just a single color, it makes this considerably easier. Along with the rafts, also 6 of the main guns are going to be painted in navy blue. These are for the A and B turret. There is another little bit of detail that goes on the base of these guns for the main armament. There is a small section that should be in some kind of a metallic gray. So that's exactly what I'm going to paint it in. This is Tamiya number XF56 metallic gray. I'm not sure if this is the correct color for this part of the gun barrel, but I think it is close enough, and the color will change slightly. It will darken a bit after weathering. Here you can see the massive difference that metal primer makes. Just a little bit of masking tape on the mesh and the rafts was enough to pull off the paint, but here I've got a lot of masking tape applied and I'm able to handle the barrels without any of the paint coming off. Now that everything has been painted, I can continue with the installation, starting with the rest of the rafts. First, I apply the rafts to the side of the C turret. I'm using the same process that I used to install the raft on the side of the A and B turret, although in this case I don't have to worry about correcting the camouflage pattern. After those rafts, I move on to the rafts that go on the roof of the turrets. Each turret has a different number of rafts positioned on it. On the A turret, there are only 3 rafts. To help position the rafts, I use calipers to find the midpoint and then place a small dot in the location on the turret. From the dot at the midpoint, I measure out 7.5 millimeters and then place another dot on either side of it. These will be the locations for the 2 other rafts that go on the A turret's roof. A similar process is then repeated for the B turret, although there are considerably more rafts on this turret. There are a total of 8. After finding the position for the first raft and placing a dot there, I then use that as a reference for all of the other positions for the rafts and mark them out. And lastly, for the C turret, on this turret there are 6 rafts, so once again a process very similar to the A turret is followed, although there are just 2 rows of rafts on this turret. One of the problems that I had with the metal detail that went on the roof of these turrets is that it did start to lift a little bit in the center, so I'm going to use this opportunity to drill holes through it so I can put some super glue underneath it and then conceal the hole with a raft. At this point, the dots effectively represent the locations where I can make those holes. I'm not necessarily going to use every dot to make a hole, just enough to get a decent amount of glue underneath the metal sheet. This is very thin photo etch, so it doesn't take much to drill through it. I found the best way to get through this photo etch is to just gently rock backwards and forwards with a bit in a pin vise. With holes opened up in the metal sheet, I then use the superglue applicator to apply a lot of superglue to the hole and let capillary action draw that glue between the plastic roof and the metal sheet. With that extra glue underneath the metal sheet, it is sitting in place much better than before. On the off chance that you'll be able to see the hole through the mesh in the raft, I'm just going to fill it up with a bit of Mr. Color number 14 to help it blend in with the rest of the color for the roof of the turret. With the paintwork on the holes touched up, the rafts are finally ready for installation. To install the rafts, I apply a small strip of medium viscosity superglue to the area where the raft needs to be installed, then position the raft on top of the strip of glue. As always, medium viscosity superglue gives me a little bit of time to position the raft, and once I'm happy with its position, I leave it in place and let the glue set. This process is simply repeated over and over again until all the rafts are installed on their turrets. And now for the main event for the turrets, the installation of the main armaments. First, I'm going to install the blast bags. These blast bags are plastic and they get placed into plastic holes, which means they can be bonded in place using plastic cement. Here I'm using a Revell Contactor Professional. After applying the glue to the inside of the hole, I then position the blast bag into the hole. With all the blast bags in position, I can now install the gun barrels themselves. The gun barrels are obviously brass going into plastic, which means I can't use plastic cement, so I'll be using medium viscosity superglue. To install these barrels, I dip the base into some medium viscosity superglue and then place the barrel into its hole in the blast bag. There is one thing to note about these blast bags and barrels. If you just place them in and let them sit flush, unfortunately they do droop down ever so slightly. That means that to get them to actually clear the turret in front and not look a little bit ridiculous, I need to angle them up ever so slightly. This does mean that a small gap opens up at the base of the barrel between it and the blast bag, but that is something I'm going to fill later using extra thin superglue. For now, I just want to get the barrels to sit in the correct position. To help ensure that all the barrels are sitting at the same height, I use a chopstick to align them, and then I position the turrets end to end to ensure that they are the same spacing apart at the end of the barrels. Once this first round of superglue is reasonably holding the barrels in place, I flip them upside down and apply a little bit of extra thin superglue to the gap, ensuring that they are properly bonded in place and filling the gap. With that, the barrels are now installed on the turrets, and the ship is starting to look like a battleship. In the next video, I will continue on this theme and complete the construction of the secondary armament. If you don't want to wait for the scheduled release of videos and want to watch them when they are uploaded, consider becoming a channel member by clicking the join button below. If you would like to support the channel, like and subscribe, and as always, questions are welcome in the comments. Thank you for watching. Cheers.